Greetings, Cmdr Alzaroc here. I'm on my fleet carrier, the Vales of Alzaroc. I've been running a number of sorties into the Tanaris Titan area in the Maelstrom. I was just taking a relax between sorties in my ready room, and it's time to head off again. I've got my latest cutter, the Maelstrom Penetrator. It's all camouflaged up with chitin plating to maybe blend in with the Thargoids in their area. Been tuning this ship. She's a great ship, and I'm able to get into the Maelstrom in and out pretty well without getting caught or getting into too much trouble. I'll be documenting my visit to the Tanaris Maelstrom and the Titan therein in the Hyades sector FB-N B7-6. I made this trip another number of times, and I thought it'd be good to document one. So here goes. This could be a lengthy one because the Titan is huge. I'll cut out some of the unnecessary footage, like passing through the corrosive part of the clouds in the minefield. Here we are at the inner defenses of big rocky field, and you can see the Tanaris Titan in the shadows ahead. I had to be careful, keep my temperature down. I find approaching slowly, maybe using a heat sink or two, will disguise my approach. Sometimes I can get on this thing and it doesn't even alert. I don't get any of the gun turrets up or fighter coverage or anything. This thing is absolutely huge. There's no way of doing. Oh, the maw, as they call it, is about to eject a ship. I use the pulse wave xenoscanner to scan the surface and see what kind of interesting scientific things I could find. Well, you can see around the peripheries the heat vents are active. It must generate a lot of heat, and it expels it every so often from these ports. There's also a lot of interesting materials that have deposited on the surface there. I use a laser with thermal vent to keep my ship cool, as long as I keep my heat below 20%. I seem to not garner much attention from the Thargoids. Here we can see the marking on the ship. Is it a name? I don't know. I can't read Thargonese. It's a very interesting pattern, though. They really like their spiral wing-shaped thingies. Here we have a coarse hull deposit. I'm going to break it free with my laser, and then I'll limp it out to grab it. At the time of this recording, I had still some room for a few of those engineering artifacts off the surface. I don't anymore at the time I'm filling this in. What I have left are tissue samples, especially the ones around the maw are a little difficult to get. But I'll endeavor to collect whatever I need for the future. Ramtaw and Professor Palin are very eagerly awaiting samples and stuff off of this thing and see what we can learn scientifically about it. And there's another deposit. We'll break that off, please and thank you. Put it in my cargo hold. These aren't caustic like the tissue samples, so it doesn't matter that I don't have much hold space. In the future, I will reconfigure this ship for more caustic hulls so I can go in for deeper dives. Now that I can stay on this thing for an hour at a time, I can just rip this thing clean, fill my cargo hold up with information and samples off of it. There on the right you can see one of the heat vents. It's not currently active. Kind of saunter over there, take a look around. Didn't look so big from the distance, did it? But this thing could swallow my ship and 50 other ships in one gulp if it had an intake like that. Yeah, I can see it's definitely closed right now. Oh, I gotta be careful. Heat bead ejected from the Titan. What kind of processes are going on in there? If I protected my ship with enough heat plating, could I get into that thing? I don't know. Not something I want to attempt right now. Huge towers stick above the surface, bigger than starports. This thing would even dwarf my carrier. It's crazy. It's hard from just this video to realize how big this thing really is. You have to be there in 3D to see. Oh, we got another coarse surface deposit there. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I got plenty of them. Yeah, up there in the upper left, you can see the maw area with its towering pylons. The tips of those pylons have some places where my research libs can get pieces of tissue off of the maw area. But it's kind of dangerous because ships are coming and going, and it's hard not to get spotted. Got a few of those, but I'm going to have to be careful getting those in the future. I think I'll probably need some more for Professor Palin and Ramtah. Here you can see one of the surface gun emplacements on the Titan. It's active right now. They're on alert because they've seen me, or they've sensed me. If they'd seen me, they'd be killing me by now. This thing is full of canyons and crevices and little mini caves and all kinds of places to poke around. Oh, there's another surface eruption. Kind of like a tumor or a wart. Maybe I'm doing this thing a favor, removing these warts and taking them away in my cargo hold. Have to oblige, Tanaris. Although this may lead to your downfall. Wouldn't it be nice if we could all end up being friends in the end? Maybe that's too much to hope for, but I hate the thought of getting into a pitched battle where one side or the other has to lose. Obviously, I don't want our side to lose. I'm a little biased in that regard. But still, it would be nice to come to some kind of an agreement or tentative settlement with these guys. Never seen them face to face. Oh, there's another surface extrusion. Let's clean that off. Man, I feel like one of those cleaner rafts in the ocean, cleaning off little bits and pieces off this thing. Kind of funny, huh? That's about how I am size-wise, too. I'm just like a little tiny tick on the surface of this thing. Only from a distance can you see the whole thing. When you're right on it, it's just hard to get a feel other than you know you are really dwarfed. Crazy stuff. In the distance, there's another one with the heat vents out on a wing of this thing. I don't know, do you call them wings? What would you call them? Call them for wings. Oh, right there, see, in the middle of the screen, that's a launch tube where fighters and things come out of the interior of this. I have to kind of be careful. Right now I'm peeling off some residue from the launch tube. Ships come by, they leave things on the surface here, and I can pick those off and collect them for engineering and for Ramtah and Professor Palin. This thing is crazy. At the time I made this video, I wasn't collecting tissues too actively. That has since changed now that I've completed getting all of the engineering materials off the surface that I need. Or can hold, for that matter. Because of the cloud, this thing has kind of a reddish effect when I don't have my night vision on. See some of the structure. My headlights don't go very far, so it's really hard to see much of the surface unless I have night vision on. Again, up ahead is one of those heat vents for discharging heat. It kind of reminds me of the pattern on the interceptors where they have their hearts. I wonder if the hearts are similar in use to these gigantic heat vents on the Titan. They seem to copy a lot of their patterns. Well, except for the hunter scythe. That's a whole new breed of beast. Although I'm able to kind of evade them for the most part now, which is making me a lot happier and simplifies my life. Here I'm approaching near to the maw area and its pylons. When it's glowing yellow like that, that means a ship is entering or exiting. Ah, there goes one. It appears to be a interceptor leaving to go on picket patrol. All the gun placements are still active, so they're still antsy about me being here. I'm going to head up to this tip and see if I can get a maw sample. Always a dangerous proposition. Even with my experience as it grows, I'm still a little leery of these guys. As Elmer Fudd would have said, "Shh, I'm hunting maw samples." Yeah, something like that. You understand. Now, I've peered into the maw before. It has kind of a liquidy looking surface, and when it's active, ships can go in and out of that. I haven't been able to get in there. And, oh shit. Alright, I'm under attack. I gotta clear away. So what I need to do now is get some of these pylons and things between me and them so they lose me and lower my temperature so they don't have a signature lock on while the surface turrets are opening up on me. The temperature's climbing, getting a little too warm. Blow a heat sink. Losing out. Turrets are still on me. That thing is huge, isn't it? Fortunately, the cutter's got a lot of momentum and overshoots where I want to go when I'm going high speed. I got my temperature under control, transferring the heat to the surface of the Titan, and I should be able to lose them. See a couple ships on my... Oh, I got incoming missiles still. I still got to get around some more things. Eventually, I did lose them. I'm on the underside of the ship now, or is it the top side? Who knows? It has pylons as well, but they don't surround a central area as much like the maw side. Now, is this side the control side or the engine side? I don't know. Maybe Ramtah or Professor Palin can figure that out in the future. Now that we've got access to this thing, we need to start figuring it out. Look at that up ahead. Looks like an alien Stonehenge, doesn't it? Reaching to the sky. They don't look that big from a distance, do they? But they dwarf even my huge cutter. Huge cutter, bigger than the size of a football field, is dwarfed by these growths off of the surface. What's their purpose? I don't know. Sensors? Who knows? Yeah, see? Get a scan on this. See if there's some tissue. Doesn't appear to be any. So, really nothing going on there. Let's turn toward this central projection of pylons. Don't see much going on there either. It's an interesting structure. It definitely draws your attention to it. Almost like a mouth. Scary thought that we could swallow my ship in one inhale. You can see these pylons, there's like energy pulses climb up those green caterpillar things stuck to its side. What that means, I have no idea. Hopefully these observations will lead to a greater understanding from our scientists. It's definitely going up to the tip, and there's a red light on the tip. Is that a navigation light, a Warning for a projection to ships. I don't know. Crazy stuff, I'll tell you. The one thing I can tell is there's no tissue samples on here to bring back for Professor Palin. Did you hear that call? This thing makes noises every once in a while. Communication? I don't know. Back along the edge, you can see that yellow glow. One of the launch tubes is active. And I don't see... Oh, there's a ship coming out. Gotta watch out. Looks like a scout. Oh, look ahead. See into my headlights? It's a launch tube for caustic missiles. I don't see as many of those on the surface as the laser turrets. Oh, shit. Poked around too much. They saw me. Got a missile up my butt and all the turrets are opening up. Gotta hide again. In the future, I'll learn to evade and keep out of this stuff. In fact, I'll be able to keep my such a low profile that the turrets will even be put away. They won't even be on alert. But on this sortie, that was not to be the case. Ouch. Well, I see by the damage on my hull that maybe it's time to get out of here. It doesn't help that I've bumped it a few. Make a quick escape across this field of asteroid rocks that the Titan has collected either by its gravity or on purpose, and need to pass back through the cloud. Thankfully, I was able to unlock caustic heat sinks, so when I get into the caustic area of this cloud, I'll be able to extract and remove the caustic elements on my hull. I hear you, Tanaris. Are you bidding me a fond farewell? Or are you shaking your fist and cursing me out? I believe probably the latter. Oh good. Up ahead, I see the first of the brighter stars appearing through the gloom of the cloud. And that's the way I'm gonna head. Keep boosting. Got 42% hull left, which wasn't bad back in the day I made this recording. Now I get out with 80-90% easy. But that's a tale for another time.
Warning, caustic damage detected.
Okay, caustic heat launchers away.
Caustic substance neutralized.
Uh-oh, I hear the buildup of the Titan's repulsing pulse. Gotta get out of here. Hold on to your skivvies.
Reboot sequence initiated. Warning, caustic damage detected. Thrusters online. Frameshift anomaly detected.
Okay, that gave me a boost, so it's throwing me even further clear out, but I'm still not at the gravity well yet. But eventually I was. Leaving the lightning, thunder, and caustic damage behind me. It's time to go home with my engineering materials. And that ends another adventure with Cmdr Alzaroc. I'll go back to my ready room and settle my nerves. So until next time, fans, be safe out there. Cmdr Alzaroc signing off.